All right, welcome to this lesson on giant steps. The first way of these 8 ways that we're going to learn to practice the song, the tune, giant steps, is by really getting into the chords, the harmony, and understanding basically what's going on. So what I've done in these 8 steps is basically try to find a way for you to internalize, basically to memorize the form. I think that's very important, is to memorize this form before you start trying to play it or play over it, improvise over it. So really trying to memorize these chord changes is going to be step 1. So the first way we're going to do is we're going to start simple. We're going to break it down, and we're going to just play in our left hand the roots, the root movement, and in our right hand we're just going to play the melody. So it's going to be 2 single note lines, 1 note line in your right hand and a 1 note line in your left hand. And you know, it's also sort of important to understand why this tune is unique. This tune is unique because these are Coltrane changes, as they're referred to. So this is a John Coltrane song, as you probably already know, and it gets its uniqueness from the fact that the cycle is unique. So let's just talk quickly about what I mean by the cycle of this harmony. The song starts on B major 7, and the idea of Coltrane changes refers to moving up a minor third and down a 5th, up a minor third and down a 5th. So we see that happening. We're at B major, we're going up a minor third to D7, and that D7 is a dominant voicing, so it functions as a dominant going to the 1, so it goes down to the 1 of D7, which is G. Up a minor third as a dominant voicing, B flat 7, that goes to its 1, E flat. So we see starting point, we go up a minor third, down a 5th, up a minor third, down a 5th. Then we're going to cycle into a new tonal center. He's going to tonicize G. So we're going to do a 2-5 in the key of G. A minor to D7, and we're going to do that same cycle again. G major, up a minor third, E flat, 7, down a 5th, to E flat. Up a third, to F sharp 7, down a 5th, to B major 7. Okay? And then it's a series of 2-5s. So that brings us to step 1. Step 1 in our 8 ways to practice the tune giant steps is to simply play the melody with our right hand and the harmony roots with our left hand. So I always use a metronome when I practice. I would encourage you to always do that. You're going to start at a very slow tempo, something that you can handle, that's comfortable, and we're just going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so once you can do that slow tempo, you are going to start bumping your metronome up a little faster, until you can play it at about the tempo of the record. So it's about a medium up swing tune. All right, so as we saw, the cycle is simply B major, up a minor third to D7, down a 5th to G, major 7, up a minor third to B flat 7, down a 5th to E flat, major 7. Then we cycle in the key of G major, so we do a 2-5, A minor 7 to D7, and then again the same cycle, the same Coltrane changes cycle, G major, up a minor third to B flat 7, down a 5th, E flat major 7, up a third, up a major third to F sharp 7, and then down a 5th again to B major 7. Now we do a series of 2-5s, and those 2-5s are moving, so you can think of it this way, this is how I think of it. I'm on B major 7, I'm going to move a tritone away. So what's a tritone away from B? F. So I'm going to do a 2-5 starting on F. F minor to B flat 7 to E flat major. That's my 2-5-1. Now I'm going to go, the next 2-5-1 starts a tritone away. So a tritone from E flat major is A minor 7, D7, G major 7. I'm going to do another 2-5-1 that's going to start a tritone away. So I go from G up to C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7 to B major 7. A 2-5 away from B major 7 now. Sorry, a tritone away from B major 7. I'm going to start my next 2-5-1 progression. So a tritone away from B is F, F minor 7 to B flat 7, E flat major 7. And this is the only one that doesn't really make sense. We're going to go down a whole step to do another 2-5. And the reason why we do that is because we're going to go back to the beginning of the tune. So this next 2-5 goes down a whole step to C sharp minor, F sharp 7, and then we're back at the start of the piece again, B major. Okay? So make sure you can play that right hand melody, left hand roots at a pretty decent tempo before you go on to the second way to practice the tune. So that brings us to our second way to practice giant steps. And this might take a little bit of practice before you're really mastered at this practice idea. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to still play in your left hand. Your left hand is still going to play the roots. So left hand's going to go just basically single note through the cycle. Now your right hand is going to start on a degree of the chord. So we're going to start with thirds, for example. Your right hand is going to play the third of every chord. So for example, we're starting on B major 7. Your right hand is going to play the third of B major, which is D sharp. D7, your right hand is going to play the third of D7, which is F sharp, and so on and so forth. So you're going to play the third of every chord. Now, you're going to do that again with your metronome. You're going to practice just what I showed you. Left hand always just playing the roots, nothing more. Right hand simply just playing the third of every chord. When you can do that, we're going to move to fifths. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. Left hand's always going to have the same job. Right hand's going to have now the job of playing the fifth of every chord. So the fifth of B major is F sharp. The fifth of D7 is A, and so on and so forth. All right, so once you get the fifths done, what do you think is going to be next? That's right, we're going to do the sevenths. So now you're going to practice, you practiced the melody, you will have practiced the third, you will have practiced the fifth, now we're going to practice the sevenths. So, and don't forget now, every chord is going to be different, so you're going to have to, as you've already seen, we're going to have to know our chord scales. We're going to have to know that B major 7, that's a major 7. But on D7, that's a flatted 7, dominant 7. Okay, so we're going to go through. And this is a real challenge. I can be honest with you right now. I'm actually having to think a lot through my, my chord scales, through the different degrees of every chord. So I would not be able to play this at a really quick tempo right now. I'm thinking too much. So I'm going to have to slow this down and practice slowly before I'm ready to start creeping that metronome up and up and up. So let's practice going through the sevenths. So B major I'm starting on, B major 7, so my right hand is going to play the 7th of B major 7. D7, my right hand is going to play the 7th, which is a C natural, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's step 2, second way to practice. So step 2 is basically all three of those. It's a step 2A, step 2B, and step 2C. A is left hand plays the roots, right hand plays the third. Step 2B is left hand plays the roots, right hand plays the fifth. Step 2C is left hand plays the roots, and right hand plays the sevenths. And what this is going to give you is a much deeper understanding, on top of, at this point, really starting to internalize and memorize this song, the harmony of this song. It's going to start ingraining the different scale degrees, the different chord tones that you can build on every harmony. So I would go through and practice this at a slow tempo, and ultimately, when you've mastered one tempo, you want to give yourself 3-4 clicks on the metronome, increase your tempo, and see if you can practice it getting increasingly faster only after you've mastered that first tempo. Okay, so practice those two steps, steps 1 and 2, before moving on to step 3, 4, and so on and so forth.